Oh, I'm supposed to talk now. Okay, red flags.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what red flags would you say from a guy's perspective were you watching out for before you finally chose?
How she interacts with people. Yes,
Okay.
and let's see. I think that's why I kind of brought other people to on our first hangouts. I made sure our
Please
first
don't
hangout was a group hangout. Kind of like see how this person. But to be honest though, that wasn't a date. That was more like friends getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So
talk about that.
we
Now.
shouldn't talk about.
Yeah, so just go to your point. Because you brought other women to our first date, but
It wasn't our first date.
Yeah,
Because
CJ,
see-
this woman, you can't see her, but she's here. She was there. That's why she's talking anyhow on this set. But continue.
Well, technically, to be fair, it wasn't a date.
Yeah, it was
We
a
did not know
hangout,
each
really.
other. So,
Yeah. Okay.
But I think for me, seeing how this person interacts with other people, for me personally, the whole idea of marriage being the most intimate relationship with someone, whoever that is has to be a friend. It has to be. It has to start off as a very good friendship, and then romance is just extra spice on it. So I think maybe from that point, looking at it from that perspective, kind of helped me to see things more like, okay, if this person is going to be a friend, first of all, I'm very selective with my friends, and it's more like, do we think alike? Are we on the same page?
Okay.
Do we hold similar values? Things like that.
So what would be a red flag? What would you say is a red flag for you in how someone relates with other people or in friendship?
So a red flag for me would be how if our values are not aligned.
Okay.
If what's the name? A good friend is someone that you and like both of you hold similar values. You have similar values, to some extent similar interests. Now, not that everything you do is exactly the same or that you have the exact same mind on everything, but at least on the big issues of life, you guys are
foundational
on the same page.
issues,
foundational stuff. So I think a big red flag would be trying to be in a relationship with somebody who, I think first one actually, trying to be in a relationship with someone that you are not exactly friends with.
Okay.
Like you guys don't have values that connect you.
Yeah.
And it's more like I just trying to start off. Yeah, some people have done it and they've succeeded, but it kind of, to me, sounds like a gamble when you start off with someone who is not.
So you say like not being friends first is a red flag for you, or not having similar values enough to start a friendship?
I think not having values that are aligned is an issue. Because we've seen cases of people who maybe started off with maybe a blind date or something like that, and the relationship worked.
Okay, which other one would you say? What other one, like one or two others, would you say is a red flag? Like you would see in a lady and you just know that this is a no.
Yeah, so how the person treats other people, especially people who can't do anything or help the person, in the sense of now. So relationships have a tendency to kind of put blindfolds on us if we're not careful. Like when you're caught up with all the emotions, and
very true.
like kind of it can blind you.
Yeah.
But usually, if you observe how the person treats other people, you get a picture of how your relationship will be at some point.
Sorry to cut you short. Like if you guys remember in my last video where I talked about like how do they treat other people, and you can see he was not even here, right? But like he's also what I feel like but he's also confirming it, that how they treat, especially I like what he said about how they treat people who can't like do anything, maybe the house help or a waiter at the restaurant that you guys went on a date with, or maybe their driver or something, right? So it's really important how they treat people who seemingly are beneath them. So thank you, babe, for mentioning that. So I would say, what red flag would you say, what other red flag, like just the last one as a guy, that guys look out for in ladies?
Okay, I need to think.
Yeah, that's fine. Take your time. We're here to talk about that. No, guys, talk.
What do you say? Well, there are a number of things. I think the values one is a very big thing. I think once that one is out of the way, once values are aligned, it actually solves a lot of things.
Okay.
Another red flag would be, red flags, for example, too, can be in two ways. There are red flags that are general red flags. For example, for believers, there's general red flag of if someone is a non-believer, like
you can't date them,
not getting into a relationship with them in the first place. That's a general red flag.
Mhm.
But then you could also have personal like red flags. In other words, your personal preferences or your personal non-negotiables. So for me personally, one of those non-negotiables.
This is the first time I'm hearing that.
Now you probably know now. One of those non-negotiables is growth in terms of, okay, the person doesn't have to be 100% something, but for me a red flag would be, and this one even goes both ways. A red flag would be hearing where the person wants to go, or where the person wants to grow, what the person wants to grow
in the
into
future,
in
right?
future.
Okay.
If I'm hearing that and I see that, oh, it's completely different from the direction in which I see, like, I understand my assignment or
like
my life
for purpose or assignment.
For assignment. Or if I don't see myself as being able to help the person in that goal, like something where I can actively support. For me, it's already a red flag. Like, okay, well, I guess that means this our relationship is not one that is very. Now we could be very good friends. It could remain, like I said, relationships progressing in stages. So it made sense like that. And for me, it was sort of a filter that I used when relating with people generally.
Okay.
So if I liked somebody and getting to know the person.
So I have a question now. What would you say was my own growth like part that you said, okay, like this works, I can go with Folashade?
Well, for one, I know that you are interested in writing. Creative writing.
Okay, and then you draw.
Yes, I'm a creative person.
Okay, so you felt like you could flow in that direction.
Now, how do I put it? It didn't feel. Now, I don't necessarily. When I'm talking about this thing, I don't necessarily mean that. It has to be something that I'm actively doing. But imagine if. So let's give a picture of. Imagine someone sees themselves being a missionary.
Okay. I was just going to.
Being posted maybe up north to be in villages, helping raising children, and another person sees himself being in the city doing business and stuff. Now, two of them may be great believers. Two of them may, like, their values may be for the kingdom, everything on the same page. But it's very clear that both people have different expressions that we had to.
And I think that Pastor mentioned, Pastor also talked about how, like, he just had this general preference because he knew that he was starting a ministry. And Pastor is Pastor P0rn, by the way. But he also said that part of the things he wanted was a woman who could preach, because he knew that there probably would be times when he would not be available, right? That he would need his wife to step in.
Example.
So I think that that's really important. Like, after you have looked at it, the person is a great believer, they have great character, your assignment, the expression of your purpose also has
the person's assignment and how you can help.
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to be a one-sided thing, because many people tend to think about it just
from their own perspective. Yeah, but can you also help the person as well? Okay, so guys, that was just wanted to bring that, to get a guy's perspective on the whole red flag thing. But our main topic for today is for the single people as well as for the married people, and it's the big question. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but I thought about it when I was single, and it's the question: should married people watch porn? So that's why I said, let me bring my husband, so that we can, both of us can talk about it, and we can, So what would you say about that? Like, should married people watch porn? They are married after all, and nobody like is there with them. It's just, but they waited. And they're now married. Should they watch porn? What do you think about that?
I thought I was the one that was going to be asking the question.
Why? Do you know the YouTube channel? Nah.
Just for the fun. Well, if you are thinking about it, like, what exactly is porn? I think that's a good place to start.
Okay, so porn is watching two actors. It's important to mention that they are actors, paid actors, excellent actors have sex. One form of like intercourse or the other. Yeah.
Okay.
Should I start?
Don't worry. Okay. So, what's the general goal? Like, why do people watch porn? So I think understanding these things would kind of help to even answer this question. Like, at the root base of it, what do people hope to achieve with porn?
Are you asking me?
I don't know. Like,
No, you're
maybe
talking
it's
us, just
maybe it's a rhetorical
okay,
question.
to
but
throw to
just
the people
throwing
watching.
it out. Because
Yeah.
when you understand like the roots idea behind something, it might help to even determine whether or not to do it or participate.
Yeah.
Well, for one, like you mentioned how porn is what's the name?
Two actors.
Yeah, two actors performing what do you call it? Sexual activity on record. Yeah, for visual stimulation, yada yada yada. There's a whole industry built on it. And interesting fun fact: most of the porn is by one company.
Yeah, I think a research has shown
most porn companies are owned by one
so they're just
company. So it's actually one giant.
Yeah,
it's a very very scary stuff. Well, side note, anyways, when you think why would something that so the way I kind of think about it is at the root cause of porn, at the root expression of porn is lust. The reason why people watch porn on one hand is to get stimulated. Now you have some people who argue that how do you learn how to have sex without if you don't watch it or if you don't. Well, there are other things people can do. Like, so the tendency is to think that the natural cause is just I learn better with videos, for example. I learn stuff better with videos or visuals.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I actually think that's a lie from the devil. Not the part of learning stuff with videos, but it's a subtle trick to think that I can open my eyes and welcome unedifying things, and somehow it won't affect me.
I'll be okay. Yeah.
And it's a common misconception, and I think many people underrate the verse in the Bible that talks about guard your heart with all diligence, for out of the common issues of life.
Affect your life. Yeah.
A big reason why I would say porn is a no-no is because at the end of the day, like even for married couples, sexual purity is more about. It's not just about the things you do or don't do, but it's more about like the state of your heart. If as a believer every aspect of my life is about consecration and worship, worship being more about worship is not just about the things you do, but more of the heart condition from which those things spring up. So more like a good example is we've all had that experience of we've seen people who sing worship songs or sing praise songs, but then when you see the expressions in their lives, you're more like
it doesn't
it's not adding up. But when even when you look at the Bible, like the earliest expressions of worship had to do with actions, things like sacrifice, Abraham and sacrifice and different things. So at the end of the day, worship is more about consecration, like the place of your heart. Meaning as a believer, every aspect of my life is supposed to be in worship to God. And in some way or form should glorify God. So having that in mind kind of answers this porn question in a big way for me. Because on one hand, I don't see how you can watch. I personally don't see how you can watch porn and glorify God. How you can watch porn and glorify
especially
God.
because the actors in the movie are most likely unmarried, right? So, and then that already goes against God's word that says that that God, our body is God's temple, and to stay away from fornication.
Yeah, then let me even add, even if they are married, there's still a problem with it, because now even if the actors in quotes are married, so that might address people who maybe are watching, or they are like, I decided not to watch porn, but I'm going to watch a sex tape of two married two married couples. But the point here is sexual intimacy was designed by God to be one of like the most intimate union between any two human beings here on earth. And it was designed to be in such a way that it's just a man, his wife, and God. No other parties involved. The moment any other parties getting involved, it dilutes God's
intention, is
design for it. So in essence, like if even if the people who you are watching
are
are married,
yeah,
you are becoming a third party in
exactly.
an intimate.
Yeah, I want you to mention what you said, when we're talking about this, about like comparison and how the people, having the sex are paid actors, and you're going to be comparing your partner who is probably a professional in another industry to people in that industry. Yeah, I want you to
Okay.
touch a bit on that.
Okay, so if I'm going to bounce on that,
Yeah.
when you think about it, all the movies we watch, there's a reason why, for example, there's a lot of hype with Hollywood movies versus the early emphasis on the early Nollywood movies. And there was a whole emphasis on you call some movies low budget, and many times it's because of the cast. How we can watch a movie and we see
just like really good actors.
Where you watch a movie and you see the really professional actors, and you can watch a movie and you see lower paid actors, and you kind of can tell that this is a low budget movie, and that's because of the experience and everything that is involved. And to be honest, here with porn, one of the easiest ways to ruin a good thing is to compare it with something else. So it's kind of like if you have a toy as a child and you are happy with this toy, like you just got you got a new phone, and you are really happy with it until you got to school, not even got to school. Maybe your parents bought you a phone and you were excited about it, but then you find out that they bought your brother or your sister
a
better phone. All of a sudden, the great gift that you were excited about, you are no longer. So it's the same thing too with porn. If the moment you start having something else to compare it with, like the moment you start having someone to compare your partner with, you can never truly be satisfied.
And then you mentioned something about how like there's a lot of cut and drawing.
Okay, so I'll get to that one, Jack.
Okay.
And still bouncing on this point of comparison, there's no how you watch porn and you won't start comparing your partner to that. And here's a big deal that I think many people fail to realize. With porn, those guys are like the Olympic they're like the Olympic athletes on sex. So it's almost like I'm watching a race with Usain Bolt, and all of a sudden I'm having this picture of comparing myself running against the world's fastest man. Automatically I'm bound to fail. Largely because I've not dedicated my life to that. But now you start comparing your partner who for a believer would very likely be someone who is just learning this thing. So this is assuming like you guys got married celibate without any sexual experience, and you feel now that we're married we can use porn. You're going to be comparing someone who is just learning or who is just starting off this journey with somebody who does it for
years
a
of
living.
Experience. So someone who has a lot of CV.
Someone who does it for a living.
Okay.
And that in itself is a big problem. Then it also goes to the whole point of everything we see on media today is produced, photoshopped, edited, cut, joined. So the same way sometimes you watch a movie and towards the end, at the end of the movie, they show you the bloopers. They show you the parts that failed. With the porn thing, they don't show you the bloopers. All you're seeing is the final cut. Everything has been, you're seeing picture perfect. And you're going to be comparing someone who you're supposed to be intimate with, who God has designed for you guys to
learn together with. You'll be comparing them with someone who has experience.
So you're going to be comparing someone that you guys are supposed to be on a journey, a learning journey with someone who has had years of experience, and be wondering why your wife can't bend the way.
Okay, so because we don't have like all the time, I'm just going to like touch on two reasons why, like, I mean, from a woman's or from a lady's perspective, right, why like porn would be a no. I mean, even though like you're married. And so the first reason would be because, I mean, for me personally, would be because loss is insatiable, and lust in itself is not like wanting something bad. I mean, sex is beautiful, God made it, I mean, God created it, but it is wanting something good badly enough that you are willing to do anything, including watching two unmarried people have sex for it. So, and but the scripture says that the way sin happens that leads to death is because it starts as a desire, as a lust in your heart, and then you start watching it. And maybe you had a beautiful marriage before, you were okay with your husband, you were okay with your wife, but you begin to watch, these Olympic, actors, Olympic athletes in the sex industry, and then all of a sudden you are just dissatisfied and you just keep wanting more. And by the time you keep comparing your pattern, probably meet someone else, out there who is promising, to satisfy. And like that, you have brought, death to, because of that loss, you've brought death, to a beautiful thing. So that would be number one. Porn is a lost issue, right? And the number two thing would be, because I always say this, are the people you are watching, are they married? And I feel like, my husband has like touched a bit on that. And the final thing is even about like the porn industry and how there is, and this is not just our own personal opinion, there is a lot of research that shows that pornography is attached to a lot of human and sex trafficking. A lot of the ladies, yes, you see them on the video, and I used to watch it before, so I'm not saying that I've never watched porn. Do you understand? That's not what this is about. A lot of the ladies that you see, on like in porn movies are women who have been human trafficked, but they will still be doing it with joy. You don't know what's happening at the other end. There was a research that I saw, that showed that a lot of humans or a lot of women that have been trafficked are in the porn industry. So by watching it, even though you're a believer, even though you seemingly have good intentions, by watching and by paying for subscriptions and all of that, you're fueling people who are who are what's the word now? Who are in bondage, and you're just like really encouraging that. So yes, your intentions might be good. Yes, you might want to learn, but you are doing it, the wrong way. Yeah. So, and finally, I just want to say that if you like really want to learn, and it's good to learn, it's good to like try new styles and all of that, they are always like helpful, like articles, illustrations, and courses. I know that there is someone on IG, and this is a free promotion. She didn't pay me to do this. Olawumi Eson, she's a sex therapist, and and then she shares like helpful tips, for married couples. She has videos, that she used like dummies to share. So there are ways to learn, there are ways to spice up your marriage without going outside of God's design, or without helping other people sell or put other people with other people in bondage. So you want to say something?
And I think that is. So I think that's actually because the desire, for example, that gets many people into, like believers into this idea, more often than not, is the innocent thought of how do I learn? How do I learn this thing? And that in itself might not be a bad desire, but then it's how we go about it. So I felt like it was important that we spoke about
like other alternatives
to learning. And personally, what we do, we try to avoid. So there's a difference between when you use illustrations and if you are watching an actual video
of a human being.
The difference, for me personally, is hard to lust after a graphic illustration or an infographic. So that's why I kind of think that something like that is more helpful. So you're getting your end goal, but without the hassle and baggage
of watching
exposing
other
yourself to.
And I think.
I'm sorry. Even something else to know. Even with those illustrations too, you have to be careful.
Because we've seen some very graphic illustrations. I think in whole, it's just to know that I really like what you said about all parts of our lives being worship, and just it's just because there are really no hard and fast rules, right? It's just really knowing that whatever it is that you want to do in satisfying your sexual desires, right, you are also like what you are doing it in a way that honors God, which is very important. And I also wanted to say something, that sex in marriage is more sacrificial than it is self-gratifying. And like married people will tell you, because there are times when your husband might even have to like wait, or like try some stuff so that you can have an orgasm first, before he goes off. But watching porn and all of that puts you, or puts like the person at the center, puts self at the center. And you can ask people who have sex, married people who have sex, like if you're selfish, you're not going to have a great sex life. And watching porn is just going to put emphasis on what you want, you getting, going off, you having an orgasm and all of that. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, babe. Thank you for coming. I know.
Yes, I should.
Thank you for coming.
I'm very
If you have any questions about sex, about porn. If you have like any resources, please share. If you have questions, just share in the comment section. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and like. It will really help, you know, all the effort that we have put into this. And until the next time that we come your way, bye guys. Thank you for watching.